thalamus. Now third ventricle is the cavity of the diencephalon. So it should be between the two thalami. So where is the third ventricle? There you go. That's the cavity of the third ventricle. Alright. Now you see another triangular band of grey matter there. That's the lentiform nucleus. Right? And you can see a V. Can you see that V? An anterior limb, a genu and a posterior limb. This is the internal capsule. Very, very important structure. All the pyramidal fibers and most of the fibers, motor fibers, they pass through the internal capsule. So here you can see this is the anterior limb, which is placed between the caudate nucleus and this nucleus, which is the lentiform nucleus. And this is the posterior limb of the internal capsule, which is placed between the thalamus and the lentiform nucleus. And here you can see this is the genu. Alright. So important fibers which cross motor fibers, all the corticospinal tract, corticonuclear tracts, all these tracts pass through the internal capsule, okay? And then it also is involved in the pathway of hearing. It has a retrolentiform and a sublentiform. So it's involved in the visual as well as the auditory pathway. Alright. So, and then you can see here from the internal capsule, see some fibers going down below. Posteriorly, what is this? This is the hippocampus. It's cut. See, this is the hippocampus, and this is the portion of the lateral ventricle. And you can see the choroid plexus there. Can you see? That's the posterior horn down, going down, and you can see this is the choroid plexus in the lateral ventricle, posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Right? So these are the fibers of the optic radiation which are going. You can see from the internal capsule they are going to the occipital cortex. The occipital cortex has the primary visual area. So these radiations, what you see, these are the optic radiations. In there you can see this. This is the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Now, the white matter has certain distinct bundles within the cerebrum. And what are these known as? These distinct bundles which connect different areas of the cerebral cortex, they are known as the commissures. Right? A collection of white matter which connects distinct areas in the cerebral hemisphere. These are known as the cerebral commissures. And what are the commissures made up of? They are made up of white matter. So what are the different types of commissures you know about? Or the different types of white fibers in the brain? They are the association fibers, projection fibers, and the commissural fibers. Association, projection, and the commissural fibers. What are association fibers?
Connect areas within each.
They connect areas within
Each hemisphere. Sorry.
Within one cerebral, adjacent areas within one cerebral hemisphere. Like they will connect frontal with the parietal lobe, frontal with the temporal lobe, right? Or the portion of the parietal with the occipital and the temporal lobe. Can you give me some examples of the association fibers? A fiber which is crossing right round like that. That's the cingulum. What does the cingulum connect? What does the cingulum connect? What does it connect? It is present here. What are the lobes? See? Cingulate gyrus. Just deep to that. Connects the frontal, the parietal, and the temporal. It gives some fibers to the occipital cortex also. Then you have some longitudinal fibers above and below the superior and the inferior longitudinal fasciculi. Alright? Read it. We are going to discuss in detail. Today I am just going to introduce and leave it. When you come, you will come prepared the next time. Okay? And what are commissural fibers? What are
Commissural fibers?
Connect the same areas, right? Connect the same areas between the two cerebral hemispheres. Can you give me some examples of commissural fibers? The largest commissure of the brain is the corpus callosum. Tell me, what's the function of the corpus callosum? Obviously, just now I told you it connects the two similar areas. But functionally, what would be the purpose of this corpus callosum? Okay, I'm learning to do some activity with my right hand. But after some time, you will see that when you are doing this without practicing, even your left hand can participate. Left hand also learns to do that, learns about that activity. How is that? It's because of the communication between the two cerebral hemispheres. Alright? So this learning process, though you're right learning to write with your right hand, but your left hand also knows how to perform that particular task is through the communication with the corpus callosum. If I were to cut the corpus callosum in some individual, alright, divide the corpus callosum, what will happen? What will happen in that individual if because of some reason we had to divide the corpus callosum? What will happen? There will be no communication between the right and the left side of the body. Alright, it is done in some patients who are having severe epilepsy, so that one side of the body could be saved. Right, the tremors are generalized tremors. The person is suffering from severe epilepsy. So you want to save one side of the body in that individual. So what do? Cut the cerebral cortex so that only one side has those seizures.
So I was reading in the neurology journal, they were saying that even when you cut for persons who have lesional types of epilepsy, even when you cut the corpus callosum or wherever the lesion is, sometimes it's not even that accurate so as to eliminate the epilepsy.
It's not
itself.
completely.
So they're trying to do EEG, fMRI to try to
locate the area, foci of the seizure, and then exactly. In these days, you don't have visual. You know about virtual knives? Virtual knife surgery. Don't you have to use a knife? You can just perform without a knife with the help of laser. You have to just exactly set the distance and the depth. You don't have to use a knife. Without so non-knife surgeries are possible. Okay, what is this now? What is this? That's that's the lateral ventricle, but you see an elevation in the lateral ventricle, a comma-shaped elevation. What's this comma-shaped elevation there? That's the caudate nucleus, the section what you saw just now, right? And look at in its vicinity, that's another elevation. What is this? That's the thalamus, right? This is the thalamus. So when I cut it like this from below, you can just see the anterior dilated portion of the caudate nucleus, and you see the portion of the thalamus, right? Okay. And we were left. What are projection fibers? Connect the cerebral cortex with the lower, either brain stem or the spinal cord. Examples of projection fiber. The biggest projection fiber is the internal capsule. That's the most important and the biggest projection fiber. You do have the corticospinal and the corticonuclear fibers, but this is the most important. Alright? Because all of them lie within this only. Alright? Okay. What are these? Which portion? These are commissural fibers. This is known as the tapetum of the corpus callosum, which connects the. This will go down below into the temporal lobe to form the tapetum, which will go down into the temporal lobe. From the corpus callosum, it will go down to the temporal lobe. That's the temporal. These are the commissural fibers or the corpus callosum. See, you can see the portion of the cingulum here. Look at this. Can you see this? See? That's the white matter of the cingulum. See? It's all around like that. If I dissect down further, these are the fibers of cingulum. The white matter there. The cingulum. Okay, what is the time? 5 minutes to